It's been time, and I feel like as my kids get older, I'm looser with them a bit as far as how I talk to them. Ooh, my oldest son, who's 12, 7th grade, he was trying to explain answer to me one day. I said, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Where are we going with this?
Where are we going with it?
I'm lost.
What the hell are you talking about? This is why this is the answer. Like, now I'm frustrated. Like, what? You just talking at this point.
Daddy, where's mommy?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Let Me Tell You Why I Hate My Kids.
Let me tell you.
We sit down for a little while and we just give you a diary of the week of how our kids have terrorized us and got on our nerves. It's again, this is week number 13, I think, episode 13.
Lucky number 13.
I'm your boy Charles. This is my boy Kenny.
Kenny B.
And we have another week of
being tortured.
Being tortured.
Being tortured by children.
Yes. Well, this week, I guess I'll start. This week has been pretty good. I just left Open House, the thing that we didn't know what it was.
Right.
It's called Open House.
Open House.
We would have got it eventually, but just left Open House. And I found out, met the teachers that I'm beefing with, that sent home the notes. I got to meet them face to face. So we went to Chloe class first. Really wanted to see how the teacher vibe and all that stuff. Pretty good. Got a little grades and everything. She's passing her grades. Only thing that was bad was her conduct, which we talk about every week on here.
Right.
So she's not, I guess she's grading below level on conduct. Everything else is good. The only thing I'm focused on. The first thing is conduct.
Conduct, that's the first thing.
And she's not passing in conduct. The teacher focused on conduct and how she need to come in and behave and stuff like that. Which I knew already. I kind of knew all this stuff already. Chloe's gonna be, we're gonna be focused on, okay, what is she doing in class that she doesn't need to be doing?
Right.
Kennedy went to her class. Teacher says she's doing exceptionally well. Can't say anything else. Can't say nothing bad about Kennedy, which I already knew.
Right.
She gloats about Kennedy, top of the class, and I knew that already. So I'm not worried about Kennedy.
Right.
You teach her, she's gonna sit down, she's gonna listen, she's gonna be respectful. Knew all that. So didn't really need to go her class really. Just wanted to kind of see what I need to be doing to kind of test her, because I feel like I bore her when we doing homework. So I just want to push her a little bit more. So the teacher gave me some hints how to push her a little bit more. So I'm cool there. But Chloe, I found out going to Open House is you don't raise your kids like everybody else raised their kids.
You don't. You get a real insight on. It could be the good and the bad. Like the parents who seem to have their stuff together. You like, I want to be like you. Like, I see your kid.
Right.
It helped me, and then you see the other ones where you like, at least my kid ain't like.
Right.
And you kind of nitpick and critique other parenting skills. Like,
yes,
I see why they kid act like that.
Yes.
And that's what Open House affords you.
And yeah, that's what I found out today is like, these kids bad.
These kids bad.
And we in there listening to the teacher. She doing her thing, and kids just running around. Running around. Like
your parents are here, dude.
Right.
Like you. So you act like this anyway.
Right. One lady slapping a kid while the lady talking, like, be quiet. I'm like, and then, because I'm real strict on behavior. Like, my kids are right here, my wife right here. We like standing still, listen, like stand up straight, don't lean on no tables.
Right.
Put your hand in your pocket, put your hand by your side, whatever you need to, you standing still.
Right.
And this kid's just running around, screaming, yelling, hey Kennedy, hey Chloe.
Like, your kid's standing there like, I want to run with you.
Right. They want to run. They want to run and play. They act like it's a pageant or something. Like they most successful or most popular.
Yeah,
that's what they kids. Everybody want to. Hey Kennedy, hey Chloe. Oh, this your dad. This everybody giving hugs. Like you just saw them 2 hours ago. Like what are we doing here?
Right.
And everybody giving hugs. Hey Kennedy, hey Chloe. What you doing? Oh, you doing this? Oh, okay. I'm like, hey, we trying to find out what. Hey, go somewhere else.
Like how close were you in disciplining other people's kids? Like you want to be like, stop. Like you just want to reach
I
out
think
and
when
touch somebody.
I think when I see one kid run by real quick, I grab mine a little tighter.
Right.
Like, hey, we don't do that.
Not today.
We don't do
Right.
that here. Like,
Lose your
and it
mind
was
if you
like
want
one of
to.
those things like where you look at the kid just running, and you kind of glance at the parent like you're not gonna say nothing.
Right. Yeah. That could
But
be
yeah, that's what I learned today as far as everybody raises their kid a little
a
different.
little different.
You hear people, like I said, one of them slapping the other kid, like, "Hey, be quiet!" Slapping them in the face while the teacher's. I'm like, "Whoa!" Other parents over here cussing their kid out. So you just feel like, I'm in the right school,
Right. Am I the right school? Are these the kids y'all sending to school? Like,
Right.
Because you having to do this outside the house. Like,
Right.
It's one thing to pop them at home.
Right.
It's one thing to if you cuss at I don't condone it. But
Right. I don't
if you
understand why you cuss
kid-
at your kids.
But to do that at home.
Right.
But you out in the open.
Everybody can see you.
Everybody can see. Like we see you.
I can see you.
Cuss them out as if they're a grown man.
Right.
Like, he's 7.
Right.
Relax.
They're still kids.
He doesn't know what MF means.
Right.
Like, so yeah, you definitely see, like I said, how other people raise their kids.
Yeah.
You definitely see how other kids behave compared to your kids.
Yes.
And to a degree, it may make you more strict because I don't ever want you to be like this.
Right.
Maybe the opposite should happen where you appreciate your child behavior, but instead of making you more strict.
I see
And
where.
then you use them as an example.
Yeah.
We was in there with Trayvon, and Trayvon running around. You ain't gonna be Trayvon.
You're not gonna do that here.
Right.
And I can see how my youngest, it only take a little bit.
Right.
You give her an inch, she gonna take a mile.
Right.
And to see that they running and ripping and running, like I can see why her behavior is like that because it only take a little bit for her
Right,
to get
right.
firecracker ready. Like I can't calm down. It's ants in my chair. Like we gone. So I can see where the behavior comes with her because I'm gonna say she's influenced by these
She's
other
influenced
kids.
by these.
But yeah, because I'm so strict at home, I guess they treat school as, hey,
Free
I'm about to
time.
wild
I'm free.
out.
Right. All
But
my
yeah.
friends here, we having a party. We actually had it wasn't open house, but it was like parent teacher conferences at our kids' school earlier this afternoon as well. And the Easton with Torrance, I know Torrance is a different person at school.
Yes.
Torrance is quiet. Like they love Torrance there. Like he's so smart. All this different type of stuff. The only thing is getting him to like engage in class because he quiet. So trying to get, but he's opening up more. So the Torrance at home, the little the fire starter I have at home, thankfully doesn't translate to school. He got some sense in school. Trey, on the other hand, Trey and Journey. Now these aren't things. Like you said, these aren't surprising. I know my kid.
Right.
Like,
You know your kids.
with Journey, it's just a matter of, honey, just turn.
Just
the
care.
door. Just care.
Just care.
Like you sitting here, eyes red, like you ain't got no sleep the night before, spacing out. Like you're doing the work, but sometimes it's a careless mistake. Sometimes your handwriting is up and down. You don't care about your handwriting one day. The next day it's the most beautiful handwriting you've ever seen. So up and down. So
My oldest is like that. Like she will sit there. I even yelled at her because she would
She
sit
was
there
taking so-
and she would take so long and then just keep erasing,
That's it,
just
what
keep
Journey
erasing,
used to
just
be.
keep erasing. And I was like, just trace the letter. What are you doing?
that's how Journey was. Like when she started to write, especially when she whether it was manuscript or in cursive, that's how it was like some of the most beautiful child handwriting I've ever seen. And now you see her handwriting now, it's like, oh, you stopped caring at some point. I can tell at what point you stopped caring. And so again, it's kind of like you talk to the teacher to be like, well, how can we like nudge her along to just turn in your work or to not be so shy and ask questions when you need help. Then there's Trey. Trey, per his teacher, is too cool for school.
Too cool.
Too cool
for
She's-
school.
She says, I can tell he has God-gifted athletic ability. Now, to a degree, I smiled at that. Like, no, that's my boy,
Yeah.
He's an athlete. He going to take care of me one day.
Right.
But at the same time, though, I'm a stickler for education, too, So she was like, she's now had to reward him for just participating in class. Because now he's not as bad as he was at the beginning of the year, I guess, but she'll ask him a question and he'll just sit there and be like, why are you asking me this question? Or he'll openly say, I'm ready to go home. Why am I here? Like, Trey, like, so when I accused her of nitpicking before, like, I gotta apologize. Trey is a monster as far as school go, cause he's a busybody. He's hyper. He's busy. She said he's all boy. He get to tussling and wrestling at the playground, and she got to constantly break him up from, and not anything malicious, but they just wrestle. You know, runs around, do flips, cartwheels, and he just don't know how to leave it outside.
Don't know how to tone it down.
Don't know how to tone it down and come in the classroom and focus, and which is why I've had to implement a speech in the morning. Those reminders. When your teacher's talking, what are you doing? Listening. All that kind of stuff. Because I don't think he processed early on the value of school. Like when you're in daycare, and even when you start in VPK initially, if it's at a daycare, it's still like more so fun playtime. You just happen to learn a few things along the way. Right. But when you get in the structure of school, where now you're expected to sit at a desk, raise your hand, speak when you have the floor to speak, converting to that, So she was like, I just had to give her flowers and be like, I failed.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
I can only try harder every day.
I will try harder.
I will try harder in the mornings.
Yes.
In my speeches.
I will put that in my speech when I write it up.
Put that in my speech, son.
Yes.
So these, open houses, if you don't go to your child's open house, I definitely encourage you to get a read on who your teacher is and their vibe or whatnot.
In the environment. That's what I was doing. I was taking pictures and the room. I just want to feel like what they're in, what are they looking at? What are they doing?
And also, as in Charles' example, you get to see some of the other kids your kid is up against, and maybe it'll help you. It'll give you a template of, maybe I don't want my kid to be like this. So let me train them a little better, so I don't have to smack them in the mouth at open house.
I'm glad I am strict and on behavior and like that discipline at my because I don't want my kids acting out. Well, even though when they with me they don't act out, but I'm sure when they were not with me they're gonna have their little things like Kennedy or Chloe when her conduct. So I guess my kid is with that. But hey, when I'm with you, we on A's and B's right now.
At least when I'm present,
don't embarrass me.
It can get at least when I'm present. Yeah, you may act like this when I'm not around, but people can see a stark difference when I am there,
right?
And not look at it like, oh, he just don't have no, because your kid just act out anytime, you know?
My fear was walking into the Kennedy or Chloe's classroom and saying, "Oh, you're Chloe's parents."
You're Chloe's parents,
right? I didn't want that look of,
and then they pull out a folder,
right? I didn't want that. So I accomplished that. That was my fear walking in.
Right.
The parent behind me, she said her child's name, and the teacher pulled her to the side and pulled out her phone and said, "This is what he did." So obviously Chloe's conduct is not as worse as his.
It's not as bad. Not as bad.
But we're still working on in conduct.
So it, like I said, it provides a template.
Right.
Like, okay, you don't want to go this far.
Right.
You're already here. Either do not exceed this point,
right?
Because here's where that leads you, and so yeah.
I left the open house thinking about Dion's statement about ranking his kids.
Yeah,
and I really believe I do rank my kids, or I favor.
I think we all do.
Or we have a favor.
I think we may not be, and you could tell his is tongue in cheek, but it's probably serious still. Like,
right.
And it happens in seasons. It ain't always the same kid or whatever, but I think we all rank our kids to some degree. Like, we know right now who our number one kid is, the one I ain't got to worry about, the one who I know will behave in a manner that's expected. And then it goes from there, depending on how many kids you have.
Right.
And that last kid is the one you lose sleep over, you pray about, or you just wash your hands of
Yeah.
and say, hey,
I need to let them know that who's first and who's
Who
second,
first,
like
yeah.
like Dion do, because I don't
have
think
a poster in
Chloe,
the hallway.
right? I don't
And
think
it-
Chloe's trying hard enough
Or-
because Kenny's been running this for at least 5 years.
right. But I don't think. I think it's just because she may not know what she like in her mind that they're on at the equal level.
Equal level.
But and Chloe just needs to know. Oh, my sister's the favorite. And I think it's smart. It starts with small gestures, like after dinner, Kennedy gets the snack. No snack for you.
No snap for you because you're second.
Look, you remember that note that came home from school?
Right.
No snap for you. Or at birthday, you have a bigger celebration for one.
Yes.
Than other. You remember how that time I told you to clean your room and it took you 2 hours? That's why you don't have a birthday party.
There you go. You need to know that you are behind someone. You are running number 2.
Like, I think if I had to put my 4 in a ranking, I mean, they all do things. They all do things that
Right.
Like
Kennedy has been running number 1 for a while. Like I have no worry. I have no worry about her.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have to lose sleep about her. Chloe gives me gray hairs every morning.
But see, I think it's easier, and hey, you guys decided to stop at 2. That was responsible. But I think it's easier we have 2. Well, you got 4. That order change
Constantly.
constantly.
Yes.
Because one just lie for no reason. One
Right.
don't do their chores. One fight. The other one just don't let. So it constantly changes. Each one have their high moments, and then they can tumble to the bottom
Right.
there next week because you just did something so stupid.
So stupid, right?
So the way they announce the rankings in football, college football each week,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna start having an announcement and announce rankings, and then each kid have.
That's
to
what
wear
I need to be doing.
And each kid will wear like their ranking.
Yes.
On their shirt,
So they would know.
So of my 4, you're the number 1 child this week.
Yes.
But if you take a bad loss, you could go to 3.
You could. You could.
Maybe it'll ignite that competitive spirit in them.
I doubt
Just
it.
to compete.
They don't care about nothing.
They don't care about nothing.
The only thing that Chloe does that gets her close to that number 1 is she does come up to me every morning or every so often and see me stressed or in my office or something, and give me a hug, say, "Daddy, I love you," but it still doesn't push her number 1 though.
And that's the thing. Like, they all have those moments. Like Trey, for example. Trey is so affectionate, and even as a dad, my love language is affection. And he'll come in at night or whatever. He'll sit on my lap and nozzle his head into my neck or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, I love you, Dad. And I'm like, I love you too, kid. And then, but then he'll head upstairs and antagonize Torrance and get Torrance screaming, and then knock him back down to number 4. So it is. They all have those moments, like you said. She come and hug you, like, I love you, and you like, I love you too, and had that sweet moment. Then in the next second,
It all goes.
they turn to a little hellion.
Yes,
Turn
this
to the
is
hell,
what
yeah.
happens.
I just recently look. Let me tell you why I hate my kids. My younger 2 especially, they have a mouth on them. It's completely all their mom's fault. It's their mom's fault.
Definitely the mom's fault.
I'm putting it on their mama.
Definitely.
Torrance had to get popped in the arm a little bit because I had to be like, "Who you think you're talking to, Mama?" Because it's morning time, getting the kids prepared for school. I'm doing his hair. I'm brushing his hair, and I'm telling him to turn to the side so I can brush whatever. He like, "Why are you taking so long? Who you talking to? Who you talking to?"
He learned it from one of them hellions in school.
He learned it from one of them hellions, and because he have a mouth like his mama, he don't have a filter. He doesn't have that stop to say, "Hey, I shouldn't say this right now."
Right.
And then Trey, what Trey did? So Trey, his little action figures, Spider-Man, Batman, superhero action figures, they all have the muscles and the abs and stuff like that.
Right.
And so he compares the body on the action figures to mine.
So hurtful.
And so he's talking about, well, all them have squares on their bellies. Yours just fat. You know what, son? You about to go to bed. It's 3:30 in the afternoon.
It's time for you to go to bed.
It's time for you to go to bed. I don't want to see you the rest of the day. I'm working on
No
it.
filter.
No filter at all. I'm working on it. That's all you need to be
Right.
worried about. I'm working on it. So these kids in their mouths are just something, and sometimes it be funny. I ain't gonna lie, and you got to do the whole stifled laugh thing, but let them know you don't talk to your.
You don't
father
talk to me
way.
like that. Yeah, right.
I'm your father.
I'm your father.
You don't talk to me like that, but their mouths are something else, man. And sometimes I just just to keep my sanity, I just shrug it off and head to my room.
Yeah. I can just imagine when my girls get of age and they start getting
having
them
girls.
mouths.
Yeah. Once them girls reach their preteen angst and everything is attitude.
Oh, I'm not looking forward to
I'm
it as
already
well.
praying
But
for you.
yeah, I'm sure it's coming.
I'm already praying for you.
I hear their little conversations afar off, talking about me and talking about
Talk about
and like when we left open house, because I guess I'm not fun dad anymore because I'm
Right.
strict. I told myself this week that I'm just gonna be happy. I'm gonna be loving this week. We're gonna do all the great things this week and stop yelling at the kids at least for a week.
right.
But we left open house this week, or left open house today, and my wife was like, "Which way are y'all going with Daddy? Or y'all going with me?" So those are the moments that I live for. Like, who loves me more?
Come on.
Kennedy, the one that's like me. Oh, I'm going with mommy, just out the blue. Like,
right.
like okay, like you may be number 2 now, like because
Right, like,
I don't know, like you said that so quick.
You have to change your ranking.
And Chloe always wants to come with me for some reason, and it feel like I feel responsible for her behavior because she's always with
always wanna be
me.
with
She
you.
always picks me, and yeah. So that's the battle I go through.
Man, I stopped taking it personal a long time ago. So last week, Torrance had a doctor's. Well, Trey and Torrance had doctor's appointments, but they had them on different days. So I picked them up from school and went to my wife's job to drop them off, and the other one came home with me. So Trey was up first. I'm dropping you off at your mom's job. Y'all have an appointment, whatever it was, afterwards. So get to the job. He excitedly taking off his seatbelt, and I tell Torrance, you coming home with me. Initially, he's like, hooray, because he a homebody. He like to be home. Not until we at the school that he's like, I want to go with mommy. Well, Torrance, we already talked about this. Well, the next day it was Torrance's turn. So I give him the same speech. Torrance, I'm taking you to mommy's job. Y'all have an appointment afterwards. Trey, you going home with me. I look back at the back seat. Trey's face is toe up, cry. I mean, boo crying.
Don't want to go with you, Dad.
And then Torrance to make it no better. That's about I'm going with mommy.
Yeah.
I'm going. I said, Trey, you ain't got to be a douche. I mean, Torrance, you don't have to be a douche. But I mean, Trey backed up, and I had to fuss. I'm like, you wasn't acting like you wasn't crying and stopping when it was your turn yesterday, and Torrance wasn't acting like this when it was your turn. So, because I'm no fun dad, you know. Because when we come home,
I'm not fun, Dad. I got to get back to that.
right? Like I try to make more effort to take them outside now to ride their bikes. But typically when I pick them up from school, we come back home. I still have to work, so
Right.
Eat your snack, sit in the living room, and hush. I'm working. You know.
Yes,
So I
that's
guess
my day as well.
I guess they just equate come home with dad with me, and I got to sit
Right.
down and hush.
Because I have to go in my office, still work, pay
Yeah.
bills, and do all these extra external things that helps me earn money.
Right.
So when their mom comes home, y'all want to go to the movies? Y'all want to go to the beach? Y'all want to go to the pool? It's, oh yeah, Mom, let's go.
We
Well,
free,
yeah.
right.
While I have to, pay the bills and do those things of that nature. So,
I got
so
it.
I'm labeled as not fun dad.
I got to keep the family afloat.
Right. I have to keep a roof over your head so we ain't sleeping outside tomorrow.
Right.
But
matter of fact, I tell them all the time. They ask, "How come you working?" So I can buy y'all things. Like,
Right.
That's why I got to work. You know, I mean, I can stop. I mean, you want me to stop? Because I can stop.
I would love to stop, but
I can stop. But the quality of life may differ a bit. But yeah, man, open house definitely opens your eyes up to how the teacher receives your child. because there's nothing like an unfiltered teacher telling you about your kid.
Yes.
But then too, you get this. It gives you that window to see how other kids are raised, how other parents parent their kids.
These parents are bad parents. I think we might be down now because y'all ain't disciplining y'all kids.
Some of y'all bad. Some of these parents now. People always be like, "Who raising them?" And I always say, "We the generation of parents who raising these kids now." And there are pockets that aren't doing a good job. That's as nice as I can put it. Some pockets aren't doing a good job.
It's not looking well for us.
It's not looking well.
And then I look at them and I'm like, my kids or my daughters have to choose from one of these nappy head boys that's your parents are cussing you out. Like, yes, I feel like it's gonna be one of those boys, Bad Boys movies where he comes to the door and I have to like, no, it's not going down like this.
Right.
Like, you might as well just turn around.
Tell him, dude,
it's not gonna happen.
You ever made love to a man?
Ever made love to a man? Because you're not taking my daughter out.
You're not taking my daughter out because you have no morals.
Yes.
I can't trust you.
I remember you from second grade when you had no respect for your adults.
I remember when you got popped in the mouth by your mama. I remember that.
Man.
That
And
stuck with me.
I know it's times coming because when we got there, Kennedy, oh, hey, Kennedy, a boy running up, hey, Kennedy, giving a hug. So I'm looking like, okay, they don't know what they're doing, but it is still.
Keep it innocent.
Right. They don't know what they're doing, but you hugging on my daughter and, still hugging, like it's a long hug. Like,
she in
second grade.
Second?
Yeah, so
Okay.
she's just in
Okay,
second.
it's still a little innocent.
Yeah, it's still a little, and they don't know what they're doing, but it's just like,
They're just truly happy to see each other.
Yeah, so it's just a popularity contest. Everybody running around. Hey, Kennedy. Hey, Chloe. Oh, hey, this is your mom. Like and it's so many kids. I found out I probably don't want more kids. I do want another child probably, but it's just got to the point where it's like, hey, can y'all tell y'all kids to shut up? I'm trying to listen to the teacher talk. I'm trying to understand what's going on in my class. I'm actually trying to want my daughter to actually succeed in class. Like, I don't know what y'all here for.
I'm trying not to discipline other people's kids.
Right.
Like, hey, little boy, shut up. Like, we trying to listen here. You looking for your mama. Like,
right. Look at mama. I sit right here, and this is my phone. Okay, that's cool, little brother. Tell that after, because we listen to this.
Right.
And it's just people walking in late. It felt so unorganized, and I understand now how I maybe need to. And then I got to the point where it's like, maybe Chuck, you need to ease up a little bit.
It do make you feel like that sometimes. Like I say,
because I say we standing there. Everybody's standing up straight. Don't lean over. I'm like, Chloe, stand up straight, because it's just like chaos around while we trying to listen to the teacher
playing with the toys.
And sometimes I do say I need to ease up at home, but it's just I don't want my kids acting like that.
I don't even want to.
They go from running to throwing shoes to cussing teachers out to fighting teachers.
Right.
And you give them, like I say, you give them an inch, they take them out.
I don't even want to give them a slither of the doorway.
Right.
To think, okay, well, my dad done loosened up a bit.
Yeah.
I'm about to. I'm taking a knife to school. Wait a minute. That escalated quickly.
I'm gonna take a knife to school and see all the people I can cut.
See what happens with that.
Yeah,
should be a good day.
Oh yeah, don't want that. So yeah, man, stay hard on your kids.
Stay hard on your kids. Man.
Whip your kids for no reason. Wake them up right now and just whip them, so they don't take a knife to school.
I'm sure it's something to whoop them for.
I'm sure it is.
Hey everybody, we just want to take a second to thank you for joining us on this week's episode.
Yes, sir.
Be sure you hit the subscribe button to join our ever-growing channel. Make sure you find us on Facebook. Let me tell you why I hate my kids podcast, and join the Facebook group.
Yes.
Let me tell you why I hate my kids.
Yes.
Where we share stories and videos and memes, laugh, cry, go through the full range of emotion of being a parent, but staying strong. Because parents, we up.
Parents, we are up.
All right, welcome back to the second part of this week's episode. We want to thank our sponsors. We don't have any right now, but but I'm just practicing for when we get some.
We got a few on hold right now.
We got a few on hold. We just trying to.
They're waiting to see how this YouTube thing is going. So y'all subscribe so we can get these partners coming in. Right now we're talking with Little Caesars and we're talking with condoms. So Trojan condoms.
We're trying to bump them up to 2 pizzas a week.
Right. That's all.
They currently only at 1.
Right.
If we keep the subscribers coming in, they'll bump us up to 2, no problem. But this week's, before we get into the topic, we got to go through parenting hacks.
Parenting hacks.
Tips and tricks and tools.
Yes, parents, listen up.
To make this parenting thing a little bit easier. This week hack especially works if you have smaller children who are still, about 4 to 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Turn everything into a race. Make everything a race.
Mm-hmm.
Who can brush their teeth first? Who can get dressed first?
Mm-hmm.
Who can put their shoes on 1st?
Mm-hmm.
Who can complete their schoolwork first?
Healthy competition.
Healthy competition makes your life a little bit easier and keeps you on schedule.
Yes.
That's this
the
week's
main
parenting
thing.
hacks.
Parenting hack.
Now, this week's topic is one that I'm sure most parents, especially parents of young children, or even if you have older kids, you remember this phase, the constant questioning of why.
Yes.
Why is the sky blue? Why does my shoes have shoestrings? Why is there pepperoni on the pizza? Why?
Why?
And I know for me, I fashion myself as a intellectual, so I try to give my kids at least a baseline definition or baseline explanation of most common things.
Mm-hmm.
But I promise you, my kids ask stuff that sometimes the answer is just because that's just how it is. Like,
yeah.
I really don't even know the answer.
I don't know.
Like, I really don't know the answer.
Right.
And you asking me questions to things that we really just don't question. We just do.
We just do.
Like, how come a duck swims forward and not backwards? I don't know. Like, why would you ask me that question?
That is very intelligent.
Right, like that's a question that either a person on shrooms is asking or a 5-year-old. Those are the only 2 type people who ask questions like that.
Hey, I don't think my kids have ever asked me. Well, I'm sure they have. I can't come up with anything right now why. But I do know myself. I ask my kids why. Because when we're doing homework daily, and the thing about it is, when I'm doing homework with my youngest, I ask her why all the time because she just be spitting out answers. Right. And one thing I do not tolerate is you just throwing out random answers. If you don't know, say you don't know, and we'll fix that.
That is my
but just
son.
don't just throw out answers. Just throw out answers. That pisses me off.
That is my oldest son. Where especially if I'm helping him out in math, and I'm a math guy, so I know what this answer should look like,
right.
or how you should arrive to this
5,
answer.
7,
and
10. Like,
I'm going over your word, and you can't even tell me how you came to this answer. So you're just making up stuff.
Right.
You just telling me that the absolute value of -8 is 11. Why?
Right.
Why?
Right.
And
that's when you don't you really find out how dumb your child is at the time. Because
like
when
they
I
look
ask
at you like
that is when you figure out how you failed as a parent.
Right.
Because you find out how dumb your child is really, how dumb your child really is when you ask why.
Yeah.
So we going over homework, and it's just multiple questions, and she pick an answer, and I'm like, it's the right answer,
right.
But I just want to know, why did you pick that?
How did you arrive to
right.
this answer?
Just
right.
Why? You got the right answer, so I'm expecting an intelligent answer of why you picked that answer. It's correct.
Right.
So when I ask why, she picks another answer. So it's like, what are we doing here?
Like, these questions me, is it B? Like that's for real. Like, you got it right, or even if you got it wrong, I ask why. So we can see where in the process where the confusion may have been. But no lie, my oldest son, I asked him, well, why'd you pick this answer, or how did you get this answer? I don't remember. Now in my head, I'm having visions of it.
Right. I failed as a parent because when I asked my youngest, why did you come up? Why is that the answer? I don't know. I don't know. Or she tries to, it's like the stories that you hear in the morning, and you like, come on, get to it.
Right.
And she just never gets to why she picked the answer. And that's where I really figured that out yesterday when I asked her why, and she trying to explain the answer. And I'm like, you're gonna be in the classes in the back.
It's been time, and I feel like as my kids get older, I'm looser with them a bit as far as how I talk to them. Ooh, my oldest son, who's 12, 7th grade, he was trying to explain to me one day. I said, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Where are we going with
Where
this?
are we going with
I'm lost.
What the hell are you talking about? This is why this is the answer. Like, now I'm frustrated. Like, what? You just talking at this point. You just talking.
Bro, I've been there so many times to where you get so frustrated till your voice elevates. This is the answer right here. Where did you get the other answer from? And then they deer in the headlights, and now you want to pay attention.
You just looking completely unhinged. And that's what your kids do to you. They just pick your composure.
Oh
apart.
man, and it's like, go to your room.
Go to your room, like.
And then
I
I
don't
just-
care if you fail.
I'll do the rest of the homework.
I'll
Do it right with my left hand, so it looked like it's your
Right.
crappy handwriting, and it get to the point where you just say, "My kids are dumb."
My kid may be a little touched, and,
Yeah.
and I don't have the money for tutoring, so they may just be stuck here.
Where did I go wrong
Where
with this
did I go
child?
wrong? We can't afford.
We can't
for you to
afford
be
you.
dumb.
We can't afford for you to be dumb. I need you to get it together.
I need you to get it together because what you're telling me right now is ridiculous.
Ridiculous. How did you get here?
How did you get here?
I feel like both of us are dumber because of what you just said.
Like my daughter, whether it be history or English assignments, anything that requires read a passage and get your hands out of a package is an adventure for her. Like, you go and see what she answers on these questions. Where did you get this? Did you read it? Like
we really just had to do that yesterday. It's just Barry had a little lamb. The lamb is white, and it's like, what color was the lamb?
Blue.
Right. It's like, where did you
Where
get
did you
that
get this
from?
from?
We just read these 4 sentences, and you still getting them wrong.
Maybe you want to reread.
I have to flip back and say, it said white. I thought I said
Bet you I ain't
white.
crazy. Bet you I ain't crazy.
It's
Because, are we reading the same?
where you think I understand that your thinking is somewhere else. That's why I come to the conclusion that we're not focused.
We're not
I'm
focused.
focused, but you're not focused because clearly,
I'm the only one focused in this room.
Right.
I'm the only one focused right
Right.
now. I see why. Now, I don't agree with this, but I see why some parents, I've been seeing this meme or whatever float around this past week, calling out teachers and saying, you get them for 8 hours. Teachers, you're going to teach whatever you don't get to that day, save it for the next day. Because when they get home, we only got 4
was that the black
hours.
man that did that?
Maybe it is a black guy. I don't know.
I saw an inspirational thing about that
I'm
where the
shamed
dude
if
was
it is a
like,
black guy. But I only have them home for 4 hours, and that's for family time, learning life skills, and before it's time for them to go to bed.
which
Now-
I kind of agree. It is a fine line because the dude was saying like, you're there, I'm paying you to teach. It shouldn't be nothing as homework because that means I have to do.
But at
Do
the
your-
same time,
do your job.
But at the same time, though, they have multiple subjects to cover throughout the day.
True.
That's assuming your child understand who your kid is.
Uh-huh.
That's assuming your child is paying attention.
Right. I'm with
And
you.
then 2, homework. It's not like you're teaching them nothing new. It's just reinforcing what they covered that day or have been covering. So it's not like all it
I'm on
is
the fence.
all it is
I
reinforcement.
can see both sides.
And then I put it like this. Okay, well if that's the case, then if you put it all on the teacher, and your kid ain't getting it in school because in your book, home time is your time. Whatever. Well, when that child fails, who we looking at? Because you ain't.
Well, according to his logic, we're looking at the teacher.
You ain't helping them at home.
According to him, he's putting it all on the teacher. It's your job to do this assignment, to teach my child. It's a fine line to me. I think it is a fine line because you do.
But learning happens at home too.
I agree with that.
So and again, you just reinforcing or
you just
helping
reinforcing.
reinforce what they're covering. You're not teaching nothing. You just reinforcing what they're learning.
I can
that
see
when
both
they go to
sides.
school the next day,
I don't agree with both sides, but I can see both sides' points.
I think it's conversations that only poor people have because rich folk are serious about their child's education. They send them off to the best schools, and they have structured
They don't do
structured
that.
stuff
They
at
got
home.
rich people have scandals about paying people to do the kids smoking crack somewhere else.
But again, they paying
They
people to make
paying-
sure their
yeah.
kid is getting along. At least they doing that. So or have nannies and stuff that help with that stuff at home, even if the parent ain't doing it themselves. So I mean,
I can see both sides because when you go to your job,
I get not doing homework every night.
because he made an example of I'm not sending the kid to school with a book bag full of dishes, saying he didn't finish this at home.
Yeah, but at the same time,
it's
if
touchy.
you use the home a job as the equation, now you're an hourly worker or a salary worker. Hourly workers, they only get paid for the hours they work.
No, he
Salary
made an
workers-
example as you sending schoolwork home for me to help teach doing your job. I'm not sending dishes back to your school saying, hey, wash these dishes because
But you sending that kid to school for a teacher to essentially help to if you raise your kid, you sending them to school for that teacher. to
I
help
think
raise them
he's saying at home I'm raising him to be a man or a person of society. I'm sending you to teach him these things at school.
to help raise them, right? So it's like the teacher helping do your job in raising them.
It's apple and oranges. I'm sending you to teach him 1 + 1. I'm not teaching him 1 + 1 at home. I'm teaching him how to clean up his room and do stuff like that. The things that you need to work in society. As far as getting a job, that's what he was saying, and I can see
But
things. I can see both
that's
sides.
the marriage of it, though, because for that person for that child to grow to be able to get a job, they got to be able to learn this stuff. It's a marriage. So
I agree with it.
So one faction, it's not like a clear line in the sand where this faction does that, this faction does this. It's supposed to be a partnership, and so we've gotten to where it's no longer a partnership where we putting more on the teachers when the teachers are more and more handcuffed, if anything, and how they can even interact with that child. And the parents are just supposed to be, well, when they get home, we just free and clear, So I think that ultimately it stifles that kid at the end of the day, and think learning only happens in one spot.
I don't think he was saying that, but yeah.
But that's the ramification of it,
but yeah,
in my opinion, anyway.
like I said, I can see both sides. I don't agree with either or, but I can see the points from each one.
Don't bombard them with homework every night or homework they got to take home over the weekend. All these projects and stuff like. Don't bombard them with it. Yeah, I agree with that.
Because at the end of the day, if you're saying this is your profession, your profession is to motivate my child. Your profession is to not only highlight the kids that are very smart, but also the ones that are struggling. You're supposed to help them get along. Now, yeah, but as a parent, I don't think he's saying when he come back home, I'm not helping at nothing, nothing.
I don't hear nothing about that.
Right,
school.
I don't want to hear nothing about that school, but I feel like you're not doing your job if my child is failing. I do believe it is a marriage where both supposed to work together. This is my child. This is
Right.
my child. But as your profession,
Well, a teacher can honestly say, well, you're not doing your job in making sure your child comes to school in the proper mind frame.
I don't know. I don't believe that.
Learn.
No, because my job is to get him to the school so that you can teach him.
Right.
That's my only job.
But then once I release them back to you, and there's no discipline, there's no structure.
No, that's
there's
what
no
he's saying. The home,
reinforcement
that's
of-
what we're teaching. Home discipline, how to respect people. But as far as 1 + 1 and what color is this, what letter is this, that's your job. And that's what he's saying.
Right,
and I agree with
right.
him in that form a little bit. Like, what are we sending him to school for? I'm not sending him to you to teach him how to.
But I think we
conduct
put,
the household.
But I think we put too much on what the purpose of school is. School is the launching point of life. It's not the end all be all.
Agree. I agree with that.
You have to have in a culture and environment of learning and education. and it's a continuous
Right.
thing.
And I think that's the
doesn't-
foundation. You teach that at home.
Right. So again, if you're teaching that at home, learning never stops or whatever, or even if they are at school and these are certain areas where your child struggle, why wouldn't you help reinforce that at home? Like why?
But I think the thing he's saying is we're reinforcing that at home. We're helping the teacher out.
Right.
You're not, as the teacher, you're not teaching my child how to wash dishes. You're not reinforcing what we're doing at home.
But they may be reinforcing that child on how to be respectful too. And
I don't think
how
they're
to
doing
have
that.
manner. I think
True, but
structured-
it's
right. So
apple and oranges. But yeah, it goes both ways. But
So in
it
that
depends on the teacher or the parent.
So in that case, the teacher could say, "Well, it's your job to teach them how not to speak out of turn or how not to fight. And if they get in a fight in school, hey, I'm hands off, whatever, because you're gonna say, well, why didn't you stop them? That's your job. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just supposed to teach them 1 + 1. He know what 1 + 1 is, but he don't
Right,
know how
I
to
would-
keep his hands to himself.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I think as far as a teacher, when I think about teacher, I think about books. I'm not thinking about overall life, how to get in and out of a situation. Now you have other people in mind for that, coaches and trainers and stuff like that, to teach the discipline and the respectfulness and all that, and that comes from the house. But as far as a teacher's job, I feel like that is a part of a teacher's job as well.
I think at the end of the day, if your kid fails, whether it be young or fail, trying, at some point you do have to let your kids be kids and reap the consequences of their actions, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I think at some point there comes a point where when your kid fails, and
Ultimately, it's on the parent.
It's on the parent.
Yes, I agree with that.
So if ultimately it's on me, then yeah, I'm gonna have a hand in all that. Because
Right.
ultimately it's on me. If my kid end up strung out on drugs, nobody's saying, well, who's this teacher? Like, well, or if my kid don't go off to be
Mm-hmm.
a physicist, ain't nobody saying, well, who's his teacher? They're looking at the parents. They're looking at the household they come from.
True, but in that same breath, if I'm fighting this other guy's side, I guess, and you fighting this side, since I got to fight his side, if you look at it that way, struggling trying to help this dude out.
Struggling.
But if you look at it from that way, when people graduate
Mm-hmm.
high school or college, they ask, "What school did you go to?" On your job average, they ask, "What school did you?" They ain't asking for who your mama, who your daddy.
No.
because they want to know the level of
No,
education you know.
But they look at you and say your parents had to have done a good job. If
On your resume,
when
they're
you-
not asking who your mama, who your daddy, how you was raised. They asking what school did
They
you
better
graduate
ask
from?
what school you graduated from.
What
you got a degree or no?
right, that's what they asking, and I think
but
that falls in
but-
that elevates the teacher and downgrades the parent.
Well, no, it doesn't, because you have to be instilled. That stuff have to be instilled in you at home to
Not necessarily. It's people that come from broken homes that are really smart and able to succeed at a high level
talk about
because.
exceptions, not the norm.
There's cases. I mean, you can make exceptions in anything.
Right. Which is why me personally, I'm always a rule guy. The rule is that starts at home. We can talk about exceptions all day. There's always one exception to something. The rule.
There's
is,
more exceptions to as far as somebody coming from a broken home or mom and dad not there
But the
and
majority-
able. I
but-
believe that's probably the majority with people not coming from a full family household nowadays. I would think
Well,
it's a
it ain't
single
even gotta be
family.
a full family household, but there's more than likely some type of structure started at home.
And right, that's what I'm saying. That's his whole argument. I'm teaching the
that's the
structure and the moral at home. My
And-
job is not to teach
But
you
it-
1 + 1.
But that goes hand in hand. Who is the first teacher?
My
The
job is to
parents.
make sure you sit down and listen. Like I'm teaching you that.
The first-
your job is to teach while my kid is down there listening. Your job is to teach them because they're listening now. Now that's your job.
But the first teacher is the parent, right?
yeah,
The first teacher is the parent.
yes.
so-
He's not. I don't think he's arguing that we're not supposed to teach.
So when you're raising your children, that's a part of the kid anyway. So
Right.
now what the teacher does is come and supplement. That's all teachers do, is come in and supplement and to help them progress further in life. Their full kit and caboodle of education or whatever knowledge base isn't only what's going on at the schoolhouse. That's like saying you head to church, and if I don't make it to heaven, that's the pastor's fault.
Mhm.
Nobody says that.
I don't think he's
It's
arguing the
pastor who's
moral
supposed to-
and the teaching part.
But no, that's the same because
It's the law. Yeah, I understand, but
your pastor is
it's two
your
different
teacher.
things that we're arguing. I'm more on the I don't know geometry,
You're right.
so I can't teach that at home. Your job is to teach
Now,
geometry.
it's limitations to what the
Right.
parents
So
know.
it's like it's things of that nature that I think I got to relearn geometry when it's your job to actually be teaching him. He bring home homework, geometry. I don't know geometry. I ain't been in school in 20 years. That's what he's saying. And why are you bringing this to me for me to help him when it's your job to do it? You just sending the homework home because you didn't have time to do it in class. I think that's his whole argument as far as not teaching. I mean, of course you're supposed to teach at home and teach, keep that going and blah, blah, blah. But his whole argument was, hey, I got to relearn this and do that.
Then get somebody who can. A cousin, a tutor, that auntie, the relative who does know geometry. The other relative who is a teacher.
I'm down for either one. Put more on the teacher, put more on the
And then,
parent.
too,
It's just,
as we talk about all the
I'm
time,
down for each
it's
one.
25 of them in there.
Yeah.
And you think they can devote individual time to each
That's
kid?
come with the same thing as far as policemen. I think that's how that comes. That's how I look at this. Policemen draw their gun on black people real quick. It comes with the territory. Your job is to keep safe. That's what your
Something
job
else
is.
changed. You ain't
It's
gonna pull it down.
okay.
That may be bad.
Your job is to keep us safe. So yeah, you might be put in some unsafe environments, but that's the job you chose. So when
Right.
you signed up to be a teacher, you didn't sign up to be a tutor for one or two people. You signed up to teach a class.
But I don't
So you
think-
know there's going to be good, there's going to be bad.
But I don't think it's not fair. I don't think it's unfair.
I don't think it's fair
to
either
say-
way.
To say, okay, here's what we've been working on in class.
Mm-hmm.
Can you revisit this with them?
Yeah,
to keep them fresh. I'm not asking you to teach them nothing. I'm not asking you to teach them nothing. I'm teaching. We just revisit it to keep it fresh for them.
like I say, I can see both
nobody
sides because when you go to work, you're not asking your wife, "Can you revisit? Help me out with this or something?" Like
But
they're
you
they're expecting you to do your job.
you're
I'm paying you to do your
You're probably
job.
asking your wife to take care of other stuff to aid in you being efficient. in
No,
doing your job.
see, that's where you getting off. You getting off with that. We're talking strictly teaching 1+1.
Right.
I'm not talking about raising my child right, raising him to do this, raising him to do that, respecting. No, you teach him 1+1. I shouldn't have to teach him 1+1. That's your job. Now, if I do it at home, that's a bonus. But if he doesn't know 1+1, he's saying that's your fault. And
it's a piss poor attitude to me.
It's
a piss poor
I
attitude,
feel
man.
like that is because it ultimately, like, if I was going back on your side, it's ultimately the parents' fault. I mean, it's your child. You would want him to succeed.
That's
You
a
would
piss
want
poor
him
attitude
to succeed in life and do all these things. So you would want to actually be in his life and
Now,
test him out
it's
and
kind
do all
of
this
one of
stuff.
those. If you don't know the answer, then just say that. If you don't know 1+1, then just say that. But
Maybe
find
that's what it
somebody who
is.
do.
I don't know.
It's a piss poor attitude to me. It screams laziness to a degree. If I had to be
I can
honest,
see that. I can see it
I
scream
don't want
that.
to be bothered with it.
Well, the clip was only 10 seconds, so
Right.
I don't know what the
Well,
whole argument was about.
Well, we're definitely expounding on it. But,
Yeah,
so
I don't know
This
what
ain't,
all-
this ain't to put words in nobody's mouth, but there are real deal people who will stand on that though.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I agree. I mean, I
and-
can see both sides,
and
but
I think you see some of these children, and you could tell who parents probably had that attitude,
right.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and sorry to say, but we can fast forward in 10 years and see them same kids, and we can trace back to say, oh, I can see,
Yeah.
why you're the way you are, because your parents
Mm-hmm.
are like, that's a teacher job.
Yeah, I always look at my teaching as far as the Serena Williams and the Tiger Woods and the Michael Jacksons. Like their dads were so hard on them, And like Dion say, you go hard in practice, so the game is easy.
So the game is easy, right?
And that's how I mean, I would never put lady at my church reminded me or told me once that I never put nothing on a teacher or anything. Like, it's my responsibility.
That's my kid at the end of the day.
It's your kid at the end of the day. If you want them to succeed and you want them to know everything and be better than you would be imparted their life. That comes with the territory.
That's like using sports as an example. I never understood the parents who scream at the coach because they kid not playing.
Right.
Are you working with your kid at home?
No, I'm not supposed to be on your side. I'm supposed to be defending.
Or they use an
another dude.
argument. Well, you the coach. You supposed to be coaching them up. But are you helping to revisit some of the stuff we going on? If you're going to come at me in that way, now you could be a hands off parent and say, have it turn out, okay, whatever, But if you're gonna come at me like this, what are you doing?
Ultimately,
in the old song say, sweep around your own front door before you try to sweep
it's the
around
parent.
mine.
Yeah, in anything, whether it's teaching, coaching, football, sports, whatever, the parent should be involved because he came from your genitalia.
My ball.
So you should want to have some level of input in everything they do in their life. If I was on your side explaining it,
Right.
But I'm supposed to be on this other
Supposed to be
dude.
on the other side.
But yeah,
I guess I'm too much of a control freak.
I'm too controlling as
I'm too much
well.
of a control freak to
I'm
be like
10 toes down in everything they do.
whatever they doing at the schoolhouse is what
Right,
they doing.
I'm 10 toes down in everything. I want to know everything. I want to be
if
involved
they
in
struggling,
everything.
I want to know what areas are you struggling in. Yeah, it's the teacher job to teach this to you.
Right.
But if the teacher's doing their job, and you know your kid that their mental abilities or they focus, how they focus and stuff like that. Well, how can I put you in the correct headspace
I have to go back and watch the full one.
to help with this,
Because he is the true definition of let me tell you why I hate my kids.
You the truth.
I know this is let me hate.
But that's probably exactly what it is. Let me tell you why I hate my kids.
I don't know.
even
I have to
help them
watch
in
the
school.
full. I got to go back and watch the full thing and just hear his whole argument on why. I don't know if it was just a sound bad or what, but
Right. I'm
but yeah.
sure it was a symposium or something. He was,
I don't know if he was just trying to get clicks and giggles. I don't know, but
I think that's what it is.
yeah,
It's
I
a
came
spark
across that. But
conversation.
yeah, it was a good. It made me think.
And here we are.
I can see both sides, but yeah,
A practice that's been effective for decades. We trying to reinvent the wheel all of a sudden because it don't fit us in our lifestyle, and that's all that boils down to. I want to be free.
there's a lot of things that don't fit that we've been probably doing for a long time that we just go along to get along, and it do need to be the rug do need to be shuffled and dust need to be like, why do we do this and why don't we do
Well,
this?
I'm just talking about, and I
As
agree,
far as that.
and I agree. But for the things that work, people want to reinvent the wheel simply because it don't fit you, and they're like, no, but there's work though.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't just go reinvent the wheel because you don't want to do it that way.
Right,
You
and
know.
that reminds me of the gender thing. The lady, I saw a sound bit of a girl got upset crying because the dude asked how many genders is, and she said, "I think we up to like 12."
I think I may have seen that. Yeah.
And I'm like, 12?
trying to think.
Right? What?
Male, female. Squirrel.
Yeah, like
Is it squirrel?
and we're just trying to. I think people are just confused, and it just you put stuff out there for so long, and that's something that I just don't want my kids to be on social media.
Not yet,
Because not yet,
right.
at least.
My whole thing it just be, and I know it's taboo to talk about any of this
Right,
stuff
everybody
nowadays.
hate mail, and we're trying to grow our channel.
We
We just lost
We
a million people. The million subscribers was just about to get.
F those guys. But my thing be, okay, male, female, what have you, gay, straight, what have you.
Mm-hmm.
And my thing just be, if you gay, just be gay. Like, why we gotta make up stuff? Like,
Yeah.
if you like, what you like,
That's
like
all
what you like.
I don't
and go
bother
about your-
nobody.
and
If you
go
like
about
this
your
kind,
life.
if you want to be called this, that's on you.
That's on you.
But I feel like it's not my responsibility to be caught
To
up
keep
with
up with what you got
everything
going
going
on.
on. Like, okay, now we're calling you this. It's not my responsibility, and you
Like-
shouldn't be offended if somebody doesn't know because it changes every day.
You can't look at me straight in the face. Stone Cold Steve Austin can't walk up to me looking like Stone Cold Steve Austin and say, I go by she, her. What? You Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stop. sir. Like, so I just think, like
Yeah.
just
That's on our other podcast.
that's on the other podcast. Let me tell you, no.
We have kind of
but
went left on
but
this.
to bring it back home, that'd be that kind of stuff where kids ask why, and I don't have an answer to.
Yeah, I don't want to get to those questions of what we just talked about. Those whys of why is this girl and why is this boy. Those are going to be the tough questions. Right now, it's just why do I have to wash my face? Why do I have to brush my teeth? Stuff like that. Why do we have to do this every day? Why do we have to make our bed? Little whys, and that's why I try to. I want my wife to understand is, hey, man, we in the glory days.
We're in the glory.
It's
right.
easy. We know where they at night.
Mhm.
They home in the bed in the other room. Yeah, they making noise. They throwing clothes and everything is junky. But right now, this the glory days.
It's the glory days.
It's gonna come a time where they want to sleep over. They want to go to these football games at night.
wanna hang
They're gonna be
out.
shooting over here, and your kid was over here. And she not there. She's supposed to be here. It's gonna
Oh
come a
my
time.
gosh.
And I know those are the days that I'm trying to prepare myself for now because I know those days are coming.
My daughter now, I feel like I can't confirm yet, but I feel like so her school have extended day aftercare, whatever you gonna call it.
Mm-hmm.
She want to stay in aftercare, so because she want to stay in aftercare, I feel like she making up different reasons, like
To be unsupervised.
right, to say like the band teacher say we got rehearsal after school. Ain't nobody said nothing to me about no rehearsal. Or my social studies teacher is having extended help session. You just trying to stay like I can't.
How old
confirm
Journey is this?
11. Or she'll be 12 next month.
Okay.
So I can't verify. I can't confirm yet.
Can't confirm
that's what
these
you're
things.
doing. But
But I
I
only need one.
but I
One
was
time-
you. I was you. Like
Maybe she might be telling the truth.
maybe, but I don't trust
Maybe
it
she
yet.
might be
I
telling the
don't
truth.
trust
Or
it
maybe
yet.
she just got her information wrong or something. I don't know.
I,
But I do know that they learn at a young age,
Yeah.
as far as that sneaky
trying to
mentality.
sneak and manipulate you, and because you want your kid to do well. Oh, they got a help session after school.
Yeah,
Sure, stay after
stay
school.
after school.
Come to find out they at the baseball field.
Yes.
Doing God knows what.
Yes.
And now I got to hit somebody's son with my car.
Yeah, man. And that's why I feel like I'm going to be that parent that has a tracking device. I'm going to be looking at it all the time,
Their phone's
studying
tracked,
messages.
right.
And I don't want to be that dude, but this world is making me be that dude. So,
Like I'm already calling you and you ain't answering.
yeah.
I'm about to lose my mind.
I'm going to pay somebody's subscription every month because their phones will be tracked.
They phones tracked.
I
know
would know
exactly where
everything
you
that's
at.
coming in, going out, where you at all times, because it's crazy. We got kids that's claiming to be kidnapped that ain't kidnapped. We got kids that, it's just too much going on. We got people that's taking kids, sex, all this stuff. So, yes, I would not feel bad for tracking my kids and wanting to know my whereabouts. If this is still, let me know. Let me tell you why I hate my kids, because I do hate them.
But I don't want this stuff to happen to them though.
But I don't want this stuff to happen to them.
I hate them here, but over here, like okay, I'm gonna protect them.
But like we said many times, we love our kids. We just hate the things they do.
We just hate the stupid stuff they do, and
Right.
and some of the stupid stuff they do is like lie about why they got to stay after school.
Maybe she got a little boy that she interested in.
That's what I mean. Like you trying to play me right now, and remembering where I was in middle school, that's where really the really liking girls started to happen. Like I like girls in elementary school, but really liking girls in middle school. And I was handsy, so I feel like who
Handsy.
trying to rub up on
Who
my
trying to
daughter?
rub up on me?
Who trying to rub up on my daughter?
Yeah.
I don't rubbed up on a few daughters. So
It is different.
I think about those things.
It is different when you have daughters now.
It is different when you have daughters. It's this movie. I forget what movie it was, but it was like the difference between raising boys and girls as far as dating go. With boys, you only got to worry about one penis. With girls, you got to worry about all the penises.
That just sent me
That just hit you.
somewhere I did not need to be. I gotta go home and
be doing-
talk to my girls
Be
now.
doing random pop-ups at the school.
Right.
That's Candy Burn some lunch. That's Candy Burn some lunch.
Y'all want to go to lunch?
Who is that over there?
Yeah.
That's Candy Burn some lunch.
Yeah, that is not where I need to be.
I got money. I just couldn't bring some lunch. No, I'll see you.
Oh boy.
Yep.
But yeah, I like how Lil Duval do his daughter. He spoils her so much to where when a boy comes and try to impress her, it's not impressive anymore because her dad done spoiled her so much. So that's what I'm trying to get with that, as far as taking them to different countries and all these different places and spoiling them as much as they possibly can. Because I remember back in our day, the big thing was
They hit Orlando.
right. Paying girls' phone. That's how I got paying phone bills and paying for nails and stuff like that. I mean, they got a little bit more expensive now, but
I ain't never do that. I wasn't ever that dude who paid for hair and nails and phone. I ain't never. Nah, I head out on dates and stuff. You know, I pay for dates, but
yeah, I don't want no little boy coming up giving $20 and thinking like
your girls have expectations of having a Tesla, so
there we go. And Roblox done really ruin that already. All right, I'm trying to live up to Roblox instead of trying to live up something else.
A Ford Taurus.
Yeah. Bro.
What's funny is I've had 2 Ford Tauruses, so I laugh, but yeah.
I never had no Ford Taurus.
I had 2 Ford Tauruses, a red one and a gray one. I
like that. Ronda, was it Ronda? No, the Ronda was a Honda.
Ronda the Honda. Ronda the Honda.
Ronda the Honda. She used to overheat and stuff.
Wipers broke off. Speedometer didn't work.
I remember I had to come pick you up a few times for Ronda. Ronda the Honda.
Ronda left the street. Oh, Ronda the Honda.
Ronda the Honda, boy. Now she being sold for parts somewhere.
I would ride on the highway, just had to go to the flow of traffic because my speedometer didn't work. Don't know how fast I'm going. Couldn't be at the front of the line because
you controlling everybody. We were doing 100 miles an hour on the freeway because you
didn't know it. Get pulled over. You know how fast you're going? Honestly, I
did not know.
I do not know how fast I'm going. Thank you. Surprised. I never got pulled over for speeding in that car. I got pulled over for other things. The blinker ain't work.
Yeah, I'm in that situation now. It's time for something else.
Yeah, it's time for something else, man. Them were the days, boy. Because you talk about, and maybe it's the caliber of women I talk to. You talk about doing stuff for your girl, so it's hard for boys to impress them. I got just as much play with Ronda the Honda. He ain't stopped no show.
That girl's just glad you had some 4 wheels.
Right, glad I had 4 wheels. All the windows ain't work.
Yeah.
Listen, the AC ain't work, man. Shoot.
They were just happy to get out the house. That's what it sounded like.
They happy they have to pick me up. Shoot.
Oh, boy.
All right, let's head on out of here.
It's been a long one.
It's been a long one. we went on a little rant.
A little rant in a little minute.
But we appreciate everybody.
If you stuck around this long.
Joining today's episode. It's a prize at the end of this video.
Yeah.
If you make it all the way to the end.
And if you subscribe.
And if you subscribe.
We up to 36. We about to blow up. Remember, the first 500 people going to go with us to the Grammy.
I'm telling you, man.
So make sure you subscribe.
I have a list of all our subscribers, and I will read off each name personally.
Yes.
As we accept our mini awards.
Right.
But thanks for joining today's episode. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, as Charles mentioned. Find us on Facebook. Let me tell you why I hate my kids podcast. And join the Facebook group.
Yes.
Let me tell you why I hate my kids. And we'll be back next week.
Remember, parents, we up.
Y'all be blessed.
Daddy, where's Mommy?